Hello and welcome to rideXdrive. Today I'm here at Interstate Cycle in Mooresville, North Carolina, also home to Lake Norman Triumph. And I'm pretty excited because I'm about to get my hands on something I have really been looking forward to. It's the 2021 Triumph Trident 660, and in today's video I'm going to tell you why I think this just might be the best new middleweight naked bike on the market. Before we begin, we'd like to give a huge thanks to Interstate Cycle in Mooresville, North Carolina. They are also home to Lake Norman Triumph and have a superb selection of the newest Triumph motorcycles and gear. Interstate Cycle has a great staff and plenty of other power sport vehicles. So if you're in the market for a new motorcycle, be sure to check out the folks at Interstate Cycle. To better understand the Triumph Trident, it helps to get a bit of history about Triumph's Street Triple and Daytona lineup. The Street Triple was introduced in 2007 as a naked roadster version of the Daytona sport bike, which was released the year prior. Both bikes came with the 675cc triple engine, and the Street Triple had a starting price of around $8,000. Since then, the Street Triple has transformed into a premium performance-focused bike with the larger, more powerful 765cc triple engine and a price tag well into the five-figure range. This evolution of the Street Triple leaves a void in the standard sport bike segment for Triumph, so enter the 2021 Triumph Trident 660. Like the original Street Triple, the Trident has an $8,000 price tag and uses a reworked version of that bike's 675cc power plant to create an all-new 660cc triple engine. At this price point, the Trident 660 competes directly against some of the longtime staples from Japanese brands, and these include the iconic SV650 from Suzuki, Yamaha's MT-07, the Honda CB650R, and Kawasaki Z650. But after spending some time with the Trident 660, I believe the Trident has entered this segment as the unquestionable leader. Everything, including the design, performance, and price, are near perfect in their execution. Styling will always be a subjective category, with the Ducati Multistrada 1000DS being the exception, as it is quite obviously very hideous. Sorry DS fans. Otherwise, what type of bike you find attractive most likely comes down to personal preference. For me, the Trident 660 is an exceptionally good-looking machine. The middleweight naked sport bike segment is one of the most competitive, and the Trident 660 brings enough style and grace to stand out amongst the competition. The front comes with a single round 7-inch headlight. In 2021, you might be surprised to find that not all motorcycles in this class have LED headlights. Triumph, on the other hand, doesn't stop with just a headlight, as all the lighting on the Trident is LED. The overall packaging of this bike is exceptional. With very few visible wires and lines, it's safe to call Triumph a premium brand, and they are one of the best in the industry when it comes to build quality. And I'm really happy to see that they didn't cut corners even when making a fairly inexpensive entry-level bike. There are 4 different color options available. The one we have is Sapphire Black. The silver and red scheme is probably my favorite, with the large Union Jack logo on the tank, but it will add an extra $125 to the base price. The tank itself looks great, with the Trident logo visible on the side and large cutouts for your knees. Even after staring at this bike for over an hour, I kept finding little unique touches that don't stand out on their own, but form together to give the Trident an overall cohesive look. Most modern bikes have these ugly, bulky fenders for the license plate and turn signals, but the Trident gets a tire hugger design that makes the rear of the motorcycle look a lot sleeker. There is a bit of bulk when viewing it from the left side, but for a factory piece it really works well and gives the bike a sporty appearance that traditional bumpers interrupt. Of course, being a naked bike, the engine and frame are completely visible, even though the materials and equipment used on the Trident aren't on the same level as the Street or Speed Triple. The fit and finish is still very high. The list of components include a Showa suspension and Nissan brakes. There isn't any adjustability up front, but the damping is spot on from the factory. When riding the Trident, you can tell that Triumph spent plenty of time researching and developing every aspect of this chassis. Rare at this price point, the 41mm forks are inverted, increasing front end stiffness and providing better response, feedback, and feel. In contrast, competition from Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki only offer telescopic forks. The brakes are from Nissan with 2-piston sliding calipers in the front with 310mm disc. The rear has a single piston and a reasonably large 255mm disc. But it does go a lot deeper than that because the Trident comes equipped with steel brake lines, which can help with better braking feel and performance over time. In comparison, a lot of the bikes in this class only come equipped with rubber brake lines. This bike has a 31.7-inch seat height, and it makes it easy to get on and off the Trident and hold the bike up when you're stopped. The rake and trail help provide a very comfortable riding position for both short and tall riders and excellent cornering stability. Overall, the ergonomics are proper for those looking for a modern roadster. But there's no doubt that it's the 660cc triple power plant that really makes the Trident special. The engine produces 80 horsepower at its 10,250 RPM redline and 47 pound-feet of torque at 6,250 RPM. However, it's worth pointing out that about 90% of that torque is available throughout most of the RPM range. This bike always feels eager to go, but it really wakes up around 4,000 RPM. And one of the beauties of a triple engine is that they're well rounded, because they provide the solid mid-range torque you get from a twin with the good top-end power of an inline 4. And this power plant evolves from Triumph's very familiar 675cc triple engine found in the previous generation Street Triple 675 and Daytona 675. It is not the same engine as there are 67 new components throughout the engine. It maintains the same 74mm bore, but has a smaller 51.1mm stroke. That's versus the 52.3mm stroke on the 675. The exhaust design is sleek without the bulky muffler found on many bikes these days, and no question adding an aftermarket can will still be a must to enjoy all the sound the triple engine has to offer. The Trident 660 comes in at 417 pounds, which is reasonably light. Combined with the extremely direct steering, the low weight makes this bike an absolute joy to ride through turns. Everything about it is easy, but not at the expense of plenty of character provided by the triple engine. I did find the throttle response to be very linear, perhaps a tad slow when you first open the throttle, but that's likely what you want from a bike in this category for smoother power delivery. It was barely noticeable, and once you get going, the response is very direct. Power flows through a 6-speed transmission, and while there is no quick shifter out of the box, Triumph does provide one as an accessory. Considering this bike will be used as the first bike for many riders, it's good to be able to get the skills of traditional shifting, which will make you a better rider overall. I found the clutch actuation of the standard setup to be light and predictable in its engagement. However, having a factory option for an up and down quick shifter is another plus for the Trident, as they are pretty much non-existent in this motorcycle class. There's even some bikes that cost twice as much that don't come with up and down quick shifters. The Trident 660 is also fitted with a slipper clutch that will ensure the rear wheel doesn't lock up if you happen to shift to too low of a gear. another good feature for newer riders. I'm also really impressed by the standard tires, which are Michelin Road 5s. These tires are some of the best and excellent in almost all conditions. Whether you're on the highway or going down a twisty road, these Michelins provide tons of confidence. Keeping everything under control is ABS and traction control with 2 ride modes, thanks to a ride-by-wire system, which is also another premium feature at this price point. In order to switch between the drive modes, there's a button on the handlebars, and you can switch between a rain and a road profile. The controls on the handlebars also allow you to adjust different options through the round display. And while the display is clear and provides all the information you would need, this is one area where I think the Trident is a bit lacking. A full TFT display would have been better versus the split screen design. If you opt to get Triumph's connectivity module, you can also add turn-by-turn navigation, as well as phone, music, and GoPro controls, which all can function using the handlebar controls and the display. And while these options will quickly increase the price, they are things that many riders will invest in anyway. So having factory parts designed specifically for the Trident 660 adds a level of quality to their fit and finish. Owning the Triumph Trident 660 should also be cost effective with a 10,000 mile or 12-month service interval, and if anything does go wrong, there's a 2-year unlimited mile warranty. All told, after spending some time with the Trident 660, I believe it is now the best bike in the standard middleweight segment. It falls into a perfect middle ground of pluses and minuses. The CB650R offers almost everything the Trident does, but with a base price of $9,200, it's over $1,000 more expensive than the Trident. The Yamaha MT-07 and Suzuki SV650s are the staples in this class and come in roughly $400 cheaper than the Trident, but in almost every way the Trident 660 feels more refined and balanced than both of these bikes. The fit and finish is also a class above the Yamaha and Suzuki, making the $400 price difference feel like a bargain. Unfortunately for the Kawasaki Z650, it remains in my opinion a bit of an afterthought in this segment. Not that it isn't as good as the SV or MT-07, but for me it doesn't elicit as much emotion as those bikes, and add to that also being down on overall build quality, equipment, and ride quality when compared to the Triumph, and well, it ends up last on the list. With the introduction of the Triumph Trident 660, Triumph has hit a bullseye for this segment. The price is spot on, and it seems the folks in Hinckley have done everything possible to make the Trident 660 the leader in this segment with near perfect execution. Sure, the styling may not be for everyone, but that's nearly the only thing I can find to fault the 660 compared to its competitors. To be fair, it would be best to have all of these bikes together and do a proper side-by-side comparison. The Honda CB650R is the only one I haven't spent time riding, but I can't imagine there's anything about it that would fill a $1,200 price gap. So for now, I feel comfortable saying if you're looking for a new naked middleweight motorcycle, the Triumph Trident 660 should definitely be at the top of your list of bikes to check out. Thanks again to Interstate Cycle, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. You can also find us on Instagram at rideXdrive.